Are you planning a trip to Rome, Italy? Well, today we're going to give you 5 very important things to know before planning your perfect trip to Rome. We live in Italy and travel to Rome several times a year. So today we are excited to share with you our best tips about transportation, accommodation, attractions, restaurant and food, and of course, safety. And for each aspect, we're going to give you all of the insights that we've learned from our many trips to Rome, including how to optimize your time so you can see as much or as little as you like, along with some ways that you can save money, because Rome can be expensive.
Yes, we'll tell you all the tricks and tips that only Italians know. Stay tuned.
Hi everyone, I'm Rick.
And I'm Andrea, and today we'll cover 5 important aspects about planning a trip to Rome. But first, if you like travel-related videos, like this one, now is a great time to hit the subscribe button down below so you never miss any future videos.
Oh, that's absolutely great advice, like I always say, right?
Thank you. So let's begin our list of 5 things to know before going to Rome by talking about transportation. If you arrive in Rome by plane, you will most likely arrive at Fiumicino Leonardo da Vinci Airport, which is located about 37 kilometers or 23 miles west of the city center. From there, you have several options to get to downtown Rome. The easiest and one of the cheapest is by train. In fact, from the airport, you can take the Leonardo Express train that runs from Fiumicino Airport to Roma Termini train station, non-stop in 32 minutes. The cost for the Leonardo Express is, at the time of recording, 14 euros per person. The train runs every 15 minutes, so it's very convenient. You can purchase the tickets online or at the train station, at the kiosk or at the ticket counter. If you buy your tickets at the train station, remember to validate them at the machine before stepping on the train. If you buy it online, you can validate the ticket on the website or on the app if you have the app on your phone.
And the trains are clean, they're comfortable, and very efficient. However, if you want to go from the Leonardo da Vinci Airport to your hotel in Rome directly, well, you're going to have to take a taxi. And taxis have a flat fee from the airport to downtown Rome for 50 euros at the time of recording. And actually, we were told that it's been this way for over 10 years. So take that inflation, right?
Yeah. If you are in Rome by cruise, you will arrive at the port of Civitavecchia, which is located about 87 kilometers or 55 miles northwest of Rome. From the port of Civitavecchia to downtown Rome, you can take the train, taxi, an independent transfer, or a cruise line transfer. We made an entire video about taking the train from Civitavecchia port to Rome, and you can watch it up here. And actually, we took it just a few weeks ago, and it was absolutely perfect and convenient.
Definitely. Right, and taxis are available from Civitavecchia to downtown Rome, but they don't have a fixed rate, so they're going to charge you by the meter. Now, we asked our taxi driver in Rome, and he said it would cost about 200 euros each way, to and from Civitavecchia. Now, there's several options for private transfers from the port of Civitavecchia to downtown Rome, and also shared transfers are available and cheaper, while of course the private ones, they're going to be more expensive. And we'll leave a link in the description to book the transfer that best suits your needs. Now, if you travel to Rome from any other Italian city, by train at least, you're going to arrive at Termini Station, which is the central train station in Rome. Termini Station is located in the city's center, and from Termini Station you can either walk, take a taxi, or the subway to your hotel. It really just depends on where your hotel is located.
Now that we cover how to get to Rome, we can talk about how to move around Rome. First, Rome is a very walkable city. In fact, most of the main attractions are in the city center, and they are very close to each other. For example, from the Colosseum to the Spanish Steps, it's only a 30 minutes walk, and it's a very nice and scenic walk. If you have mobility issue or you don't like to walk, you can take the taxi, the or the upon-off bus, or use the metro. We find that taxis are the most convenient way to get between attractions in Rome, and they are usually quite affordable and easy to find. There's tons of taxis in Rome. The only problem with taxis can be the traffic that might slow down your ride sometimes.
Yeah, so definitely
keep
that in mind if you're in a taxi. Now, the hop on hop off bus in Rome, while we like it in other cities, in Rome it's not ideal, but it still can be a good option for certain people. Let me explain. Most of the main attractions in Rome, like the Trevi Fountain, the Pantheon, Piazza Navona, well, they're in pedestrian-only areas where buses are not allowed to go.
Mm-hmm.
Also, some streets in Rome are extremely narrow, and buses, well, they just don't fit. So for this reason, the ho-ho bus or the hop-on, hop-off usually stops in proximity of the attraction, but you'll still need to walk to reach it. So as long as you're aware of this, you can go ahead and use it if you like. And of course, we'll leave a link in the description for you to check out the hop-on, hop-off bus in Rome.
Lastly, some areas of Rome are quite easy to reach by metro. At the time of recording, Rome has two lines that are useful for tourists. Line A, which can be used to reach Spanish Steps and the Vatican Museum from the train station, and Line B, which can be used to reach the Colosseum or the Circus Maximus from the train station. We recorded an entire video about how to use the metro in Rome, and you can check it out up here.
Yeah, and actually it's a very, very easy to use system, right?
Yeah. Also, if you plan on using public transportation, you can save some money by getting the Roma Pass. It's valid 48 or 72 hours and includes free unlimited public transportation, along with free and reduced cost entrance to some museum and attractions.
Yeah, actually almost all of them in Rome are all included in that pass, so it's very
More
good.
about that on later.
Okay, so let's move on to our second tip to know before visiting Rome, and it's how to book accommodations in Rome. In our opinion, one of the most important things to consider when looking for accommodations in Rome is the location, not the price. In fact, you do not want to waste a lot of time or money commuting, to and from your hotel to the attractions in the city center. For this reason, we always recommend people, who are visiting Rome to book hotels or B&Bs in the city center. Now, having said all of that, I realize that price or budget is going to be a consideration, especially since hotels in Rome can be really expensive. Now, whichever hotel you choose, we recommend booking a hotel with free breakfast, flexible terms, and way in advance. And by way in advance, I mean 6 months or more to get the best price. And make sure that you can cancel the reservation if you need to without any penalty, because many hotels will allow you to cancel even 1 or 2 days before your trip. And this is helpful because plans change, or maybe you find a better or cheaper hotel, or for any other reasons, right? Now, in terms of free breakfast, it might not seem like much, but if money is tight, you can have a big breakfast, save on lunch, and then go out for a nice dinner.
Excellent. Let's cover the most popular area for hotels in Rome. First area is Terminus Station area. Around the Terminus Station, you will find a lot of choices for hotels and accommodation. This area has a lot of budget-friendly hotels that can be good if you want to save some money. It is also a good area for transportation because the two main metro lines have a stop and they intersect at Terminus Station, and there are always a lot of taxis available in this area. However, the area around Termini is not the prettiest or the safest, and you can see some homeless people sleeping on the sidewalk, and it's a little rough around the edges. Also, it is a very busy area with traffic, and it can be noisy at night. If you can live with these two problems, then it's a very good option. The next area is the Monti area. The Monti area is a great location for hotels and bed and breakfast, and we stayed there several times and we like it. Hotel in the Monte area can be slightly more expensive than the one at the terminus station, but they are also located in a much better area, a much cleaner area. Hotels in the Monte area also tend to be a bit newer than the ones located in the historic city center. Like the Termini area, the Monte area is a little further from many attractions in Rome. However, it is the closest to the Colosseum and to the Forum.
So if that's an important attraction for you, then Monte
Definitely.
area could be something to consider. Now, hotels in the historic city center of Rome, these ones are the most strategically located. Usually, they're just a few steps away from all the most famous attractions in Rome. Hotels in the area are also perfect if you like to walk around or if you want to have a nice dinner with the locals, like in Trastevere, right?
Yeah.
Now, price-wise, they tend to be more costly than the previous two locations. And also, these hotels are often in 300, 400, 500-year-old buildings, and for that reason, rooms are often a bit small, the layout can be weird, they can also often have small elevators and steps and stairs, so if you have mobility issues, definitely keep that in mind, or just ask the hotel in advance.
Borgo and Prati areas are just outside the historic city center, but they are very close to the Vatican and the Vatican museums, on the left bank of the river Tiber. Here you can find very wide variety of hotels, from budget to more modern and upscale hotel. These two areas are still within walking distance to downtown, to the city center. However, it is a bit of a long walk, so keep that in mind when you book hotel in this area.
Yeah, but if you want to go to if the Vatican is the big one for you,
that's the place. Lastly, we have Piazza del Popolo, Spanish Steps, and Via Veneto area. In this area, you'll find the most luxurious hotels in the city. Most of the hotels are 5 stars and up, with amazing buildings, doormen, red carpets.
Excuse me, how come you haven't ever booked one for me in that area?
We have one time. They often have gardens, panoramic terraces with bars or restaurant. In other words, these are the hotels if you want to try the best that Rome has to offer. They are also the perfect location if you like high-end shopping or fine dining.
We definitely got to try that next trip to Rome. Okay, so time to move to our third thing to consider before going to Rome, and that's visiting Rome's attractions. Now, there is definitely no lack of things to see and do in Rome. In fact, you can stay in Rome for a month and you still won't see everything. Now, some attractions in Rome are free while others are not. Now, the most famous free attractions in Rome include Piazza Navona, the Spanish Steps, Mouth of Truth, the Campidoglio, and of course the most famous one of all, which is the Trevi Fountain. Now, if you want a full list of the free attractions in Rome, check out this video. Now, keep in mind that because these attractions are free, they'll also likely be really busy, exactly. The Trevi Fountain, for example, can be probably the busiest place in the city. And to avoid some of the crowd, we suggest you to either go early in the morning or late at night. Now, here is a bonus tip regarding the Trevi Fountain. Don't go there on Monday mornings because that's when they shut everything down, empty the fountain, and clean it out. And if anyone asks you how you know all this, tell them that you follow Travel Addicts Life. Okay, so unfortunately, one of the most beautiful monuments in Rome, the Pantheon, is no longer free. So if you want to visit this incredible site,
and you should.
Yes, definitely. You should buy a ticket, or you'll need to buy a ticket. Yeah. Now, as we mentioned before, some of the most important attractions in Rome are not free and you need to buy a ticket to get in. Now, it is incredibly important for you to buy your tickets in advance. Even better, buy the skip the line tickets. Now, if you don't buy your skip the line tickets, you can save some money by buying a Roma Pass, which is what we talked about earlier. It's good for 48 or 72 hours, gives you free or reduced entry, to museum and attractions, and of course, public transportation. However, not all of these places, these attractions, have a line for Roma Pass holders. So if you have the budget, get your tickets in advance, get the skip the line tickets. Otherwise, check out the Roma Pass to save a bit of money. And of course, we're going to leave a link in the description below for both so you can check everything out on your own.
Absolutely. Lastly, don't only go to the most famous attractions. Check out the less famous ones as well. For example, the Marcello Theatre, it looks like the Colosseum, and you can go right up to it. It's adjacent to the Jewish ghetto, where you can have a fantastic lunch, and usually it's not very busy.
Yep.
And that church, San Pietro in Vincoli, that has an amazing sculpture from Michelangelo, the Moses, that no one ever goes to, and it's free, absolutely. And don't forget to check out the Keyhole. It's a place on top of the Aventine Hill. You know where it is because you'll see a long line of people all looking through it.
Like a little
keyhole at the door. And when you do, you'll have an amazing view of the Dome of St. Peter. It's really cool.
Yeah, speaking of St. Peter, if you're going to be visiting churches, be aware that some, like St. Peter's in the Vatican, they require a certain dress code. Generally, cover your shoulders and your knees, and you'll be okay.
No tank top in the churches.
No.
Let's move to the fourth thing to know before visiting Rome, and we'll talk about restaurants and food.
That's actually one of my favorite topics.
It is. Rome has an incredible variety of typical food, and it would be a shame not to try this very important part of the local culture. However, there are a lot of restaurants in the city that are targeted to tourists, and they serve mediocre food at very high prices. So how do you spot these restaurants? Well, first, if they have names like Cheesecake Factory or Hard Rock Cafe, it's not to say there are bad restaurants, they're just not Italian and definitely not local. And when in Rome, do as the Romans do. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Local food.
Yes, eat the Italian food, the authentic Italian food.
Okay, how do you know if a restaurant is tourist or not? Well, if a restaurant has a menu outside with photos of every Italian dish, from pizza to burgers to pasta to tiramisu to Fiorentina, you can be almost certain that is not authentic. Second, try to avoid restaurants that are in front of major monuments or attractions. If a restaurant is right in front of the Pantheon or the Colosseum, you will pay a very high premium for the location, and usually the food is not the best. Third, do not ask restaurant recommendation from the hotel concierge or the taxi driver, because they will most likely recommend places that pay a commission, and the food is usually mediocre at best. Lastly, if you are not sure about a restaurant, check the review on Google. Anything that with less than 4 stars should be avoided. In Italy, a good restaurant have 4.5 stars or more, and they are not very difficult to find. Actually, it's super easy to find them.
So, what are the most or the must-try dishes in Rome? Well, first we have pasta alla carbonara. We've got a matriciana and pasta cacio e pepe. These are the 3 most popular pastas in Rome. And it's what the locals eat. So if you go to a local restaurant, you'll pay a fair price for these dishes, not an inflated tourist price. Oh, and also you should definitely try the supli. It tastes way better than it sounds. Okay, it's a deep-fried rice ball with tons of cheese. Also, try the deep-fried zucchini blossom. Another thing to try in Rome is the carciofi alla Judea, which are Jewish-style fried artichokes, and they're best found in the Jewish ghetto. Lastly, a visit to Rome would not be complete without trying the pizza al taglio. This is a pizza that's sliced into squares and sold by weight, and typical in Rome. Now, for a complete list of what to eat in Rome, check this video up here. Also, don't forget to have an aperitivo. Now, aperitivo is usually around 6 to 7 p.m. before dinner. You can get a glass of wine or a cocktail, and the restaurant or bar usually serves it with a little food like chips or nuts, or a few slices of pizza if you're lucky. The food is free and comes included in the price of the drink. Now, expect to pay between 10 and 12 euros per drink, and that'll include the food. Now, if they ask you for more than 12 euros, seriously, move on to another place because it's probably not worth it. Now, here's a pro tip. If you're looking to skip dinner, you can always ask for more food. Most places will bring you more food when you order another glass of wine.
Absolutely.
And last but not least, if you're feeling a little thirsty while walking around Rome, because let's admit it, it can get really hot in the summertime, there's these things called nazzoni. And these are water fountains that you can use to drink. If you plug the bottom of the spout, the water will come out of the top, and then you can drink from that. Otherwise, you can fill your water bottle and use that.
Absolutely. Let's move to the fifth and last thing to know before visiting Rome, and we talk about safety. First, Rome is a very safe city, and you should not be afraid of visiting it. But like any other city in the world that is really busy with tourists, Rome can have some petty crime that you should be aware of. Thousands of tourists flood Rome every single day. When there are so many tourists, there could be some pickpockets. To avoid pickpockets, just be careful when you are in very busy area. For example, the Trevi Fountain or some of the metro station. Also, don't put your wallet in your backpack or in your back pocket. These are not good places to put them.
No.
Also, don't keep a lot of cash on you. You don't need it. Just use your debit or credit card instead, or tap your phone. It's even better.
And speaking of cash, don't bring any US dollars. There's no point. Nobody will take it. And if they do, they're going to give you a terrible exchange rate.
Absolutely. Also, with the gypsies and anybody who wants to give you something for free. They are notorious for trying to distract you so they can steal your wallet, or at least try. Obviously, you should not leave your purse, camera, or phone unattended at any time, but it's something that you shouldn't do anywhere, not just in Rome. Also, don't trust the street vendors that sells counterfeit bags, or glasses, or watches, or scarf, or wallets. Usually, they are very poor quality and they won't last very long, so you're just wasting your money there.
Yep, and it's illegal too.
It's illegal too.
In Rome, you also want to pay attention to traffic, especially the scooters. They tend to zip around really fast, and if you're distracted, like looking at your phone, you can be hit. Also, keep in mind that some of the streets in Rome, well, they're thousands of years old, and they can be uneven. For this reason, watch your steps to avoid tripping. And on that note, it's important that when you go anywhere, make sure that you have some form of travel insurance. Travel medical, for example, will cover you for things like emergencies or accidents, but be sure to read the policy carefully, and you might even have it included with your credit card, so you can definitely explore, that avenue as well. Well, folks, that is what we've got for you today. We hope that you enjoyed this video and that you've learned something about Rome that will make your visit just that much better. As usual, if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below. We love to hear back from you and, of course, to answer all of the questions, as best as we can. And don't forget to take a look at our website, readysetitaly.com, for more information about visiting Rome and Italy.
And of course, if you see us in Rome or anywhere else, please say hi. We love to meet you all. In the meantime, we'll see you on our next video.
Ciao!